Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing alright. So, welcome to the first episode of Technicals with Roy. In the first episode, we're going to be discussing basically the setup, what I look for in the markets, just from a general perspective, sparing the details, and what do I see when I look at a chart, and basically what am I looking for in order to enter a trade. For example, like this one, Euro CAD, I just entered it through to the downside. And for example, we can look at crypto. On the weekend, I entered this trade, this Binance trade right here. I'm still waiting for the market to hit that full $670 area. We will see how that goes. Now, for going back to Euro CAD, right there, we're going to discuss the trades that I basically saw today. So for Euro CAD, first of all, you can see right here, this is, by the way, a free Discord, guys, a free community. I share my trades every day in my free morning market analysis right there, just for transparency purposes, so you can see what I'm doing and you can see the way that I trade and you can evaluate whether you like it or whatever. All right, so Euro CAD trades right there, we just entered.
We're going to start with Euro CAD.
So, and then we have AUD CAD and USD JPY trades. So for AUD CAD and USD JPY, let's go ahead and also look at them and determine what we were looking at. So AUD CAD, right there, through to the upside. We're waiting for the market to basically push up, retrace, tap this area, and then see it going through to the downside. That's it. So right now we don't have an entry. We're waiting for the market to come back up. I don't believe this is going to be happening today, or at the very least, I don't believe I'm going to be finding my entry today. I believe this is going to be a tomorrow trade if it happens. Then we have USD JPY right here. This can happen today, but based on how the markets are moving, like impulsing heavily through to the upside even right now, maybe I won't be capable of entering today also on USD JPY. My target for USD JPY is this 147 psychological level right here, this 146,500 to 147, seeing the market push up there. I wanted to enter right here as soon as the market came back into this area, but you can see this is Friday 6 a.m. It was a bank holiday, so I decided 4th of July, so I decided to stay away. And then we have the Monday 2 a.m. candlestick right here. Of course, I was asleep, I wasn't trading, and then the market pushed through to the upside right there, and we missed out on this movement through to the upside. So right now I'm looking to find an entry if the market retraces down all the way up. So let's discuss the setup and what I'm basically looking at on the charts right here. Let's start with Euro CAD. Basically, I look for the same thing, guys. I come here, I go to the TET Capital Report. That's not the TET Capital Report. So I come here to the TET Capital Report and I just look at all the instruments and I read the biases and the direction for all of the instruments that we have. Let's start with Euro CAD. You can see that Euro CAD is bearish absolutely everywhere. It's bearish on the investor horizon, it's bearish on the swing horizon, it's bearish on the day trading horizon. So that immediately tells me that I am looking for sells on Euro CAD. So I went to the charts right there, and what I look for, because I'm looking for bearish trades, I look for a bullish push and then a transition through to the downside. And then I would sell this bearishness down. So right here we can see on the daily time frame, we've had this setup. I spoke about it on the Discord for a while now. I've been speaking about it for a while because it has been going on for a while. We've had this push through to the upside right there. We've taken these highs. We've broken this area through to the downside. We then reversed up. I call this a fake reversal. Let me just quickly explain here. The market pushed up, took out some highs right here through to the upside, and then it reversed. Everyone is looking at this as a reversal through to the downside. Oh my god, the market is going to reverse. It's going to retrace, tap an imbalance, tap an order block, tap a Fibonacci, whatever it is, and then push through to the downside. This is what everyone is basically forecasting. What ends up happening is the market is like, nope, I'm not actually going down, I'm going up. So this becomes a fake reversal. It's one of the patterns that I love trading on a usual basis. So fake reversal right here, the market creates bullishness right there. The TET Capital Report turns bullish on the investor horizon and the market just pushes up from there. Today, we can see as we look at the TET Capital Report that bullishness through to the upside ended and we just introduced bearishness into the market. So we just transitioned from being bullish to being bearish. And those setups, I love them. So we look down at the lower time frames, we can see because all of the time frames are bearish. We have the swing horizon, we have the investor horizon, and we have the day trading horizon. Everything is bearish. And therefore, I look at this lower time frame right here, and what do I see? Simply, the market was bullish, that bullishness ended, and the market shifted through to the downside right now. So I looked at the area that was just liquidated through to the upside. We've had 1, two highs right here. They were liquidated through to the upside, market pushed down and came back into this area. And right now I am looking for a reaction off of this area through to the downside, hence why I'm selling Euro CAD through to the downside. That's it, as simple as that. Now, there is a risk that I'm taking for this trade. You can see that I wrote bearish plus soon to be bullish. So there's a specific risk that I'm taking for this trade with an increased risk than my usual trades, which is if I go down to the 2 hours right now, I can see that the market created these bottoms right here, 1, 2, and then the market started pushing through to the upside from there. We liquidated down and then we pushed through to the upside from there. So this is a bullish signal right now on the charts. So we can see the market coming down into this area right here and then pushing through to the upside from there. And therefore, I'm going to sell right here, allow the markets to come back into this area, then start managing this trade down as this market is pushing through to the downside right here. That's it for Euro CAD. Now, the risk that I'm taking is simply the fact that the market might not retrace to the downside and then push up. This is a bullish signal, and therefore the market can simply continue going through to the upside. This is the additional risk that I'm taking for Euro CAD, but I accepted that risk and I'm going to manage that trade accordingly. As soon as it makes it down into this area, I will start managing this trade and seeing how the rest of that trade goes. That's it for Euro CAD. Now we look at USD JPY and AUD CAD, which are the trades that I also found today. Right here, we have AUD CAD heavily correlated with Euro CAD. Obviously, they're both Canadian. They both have the Canadian dollar in them. And therefore, I'm also looking for bearishness right here. We can look at the TET Capital report for AUD CAD right there. We are bearish on the swing horizon and we are bearish on the day trading horizon. So obviously, I am looking for sells on AUD CAD. Now we need that transition, right? We need bullish and then transition through to the downside. Quite easy as well. I look at the investor horizon. The TET Capital report a while back was bullish. When was it bullish? When the market came down and liquidated these lows through to the downside right here, and then it started pushing through to the upside from there. Now, right now, we pushed all the way up. We liquidated this high, we liquidated this high, and we liquidated this high. So this huge resistance line up there. We went above it, and then we started going below it. And therefore, we transitioned from having bullish momentum through to the upside into these stops into bearishness. I love these setups, as simple as that. This is what I look for on the charts, and this is what I usually try to trade. So we go down to the 4 hours right here, as simple as that, and we see that the market is already pushing down. So right now, I'm just waiting for the market to come back into the 0.89 psychological level, so I can see the entry that I can find, if I can find an entry around this area right here. I have placed an alert right here. I don't know why it's not showing on this laptop. Maybe it's because I placed it on my monitor and it still didn't update on this chart, but I have an alert right here on around 0.89, this area right here. We'll see how that specific trade goes. Now for the setup itself, it's also very easy, similarly to the Euro CAD trade right here. We have the market creating these highs, as simple as that. The market liquidating them through to the upside, then transitioning into bearishness. We came back into this area and already pushed down from it. Euro CAD, if you can look at it, it's right here right now. It's just retesting that area of liquidations. Look at this. Euro CAD, it's right here. We liquidated these highs, pushed down. We're coming back into this area where I'm trying to find some sells. For AUD CAD, we already retested this area and we already pushed through to the downside. So right now, I'm just waiting for the market to possibly give me another entry through to the downside. We will see how that goes when the market goes back into this area, if it decides to go back into this area. USD JPY has been a little bit of a bummer. So USD JPY, as you can see right now, we'll look at the TET Capital report. It is bullish on the investor horizon and it is bullish on the swing horizon. And therefore, obviously, we are looking for bullish trades on USD JPY. As usual, I am looking for that transition. So I need the market to be bearish and then to shift through to the upside. I looked at the previous TET Capital reports that we had, and I found out that the market on the swing horizon, which is anywhere from the 4 hours time frame to the 6 hours time frame, was bearish through to the downside. And therefore, where were we bearish? Okay, I sound like a fucking dog barking right now. But anyway, we were bearish right here through to the upside. The market grabbed these highs right there and these highs through to the upside. And then we pushed up into them, liquidated them, and started pushing through to the downside right here. Then the market came back into this area, the liquidation area. We tested it, and then we started pushing through to the downside. All right, we started pushing through to the downside. From there, we created this drive, this second drive, this third drive through to the downside. After completing this bearishness and taking out all of these lows through to the downside, the market finally shifted bullish. All right, so we were bearish from all the way up there, boom, through to the downside, shifted bullish from the downside, and therefore this is the setup that I usually look at. Now the setup itself, the bullish setup, is also very simple. We've had this massive area of support right here. The market went below it and then shifted through to the upside and then came back into this area. Now I wanted to trade this area, as I told you guys before, but I didn't get an entry right there. I actually had an entry, but it was Friday, 4th of July right here, this candlestick. I could have entered right here when this candlestick ended. This is the 6 a.m. candlestick, and therefore it would have ended at 10 a.m. UK time, which I would have been available for me to trade to take that trade. But it was 4th of July, it was a bank holiday, and therefore I decided to stay away. The market then trailed inside of this area right here, and I wanted to take this trade today morning, but the 2 a.m. candlestick showed up, which was in the middle of the night. I was sleeping, and the market just simply pushed through to the upside, and we were late. The market right now, I just want a small retracement for me to find a trade. I believe USD JPY is going to continue pushing up into this 146,500 to 147 area up there. This is where I can see USD JPY going right now. It just unfortunately is going without me, and I just wanted to retrace down for me so I can take this trade. USD JPY is right now exactly where AUD CAD is. It's the same setup. What do I mean by that? We've had these lows. These lows were liquidated. The market came back into this area of liquidation. So this is where Euro CAD is, right there at the area of liquidation. You can look at it, look at it again at the area of liquidation. However, USD JPY right here pushed further and right now can retest this area and then push through to the upside. AUD CAD is the same thing. We tested this area, pushed down, and right now we're waiting for a retracement to go through to the downside. I'm looking at the same thing. Therefore, in the first episode of Technicals with Roy, all I want to teach you guys is that we simply look for one thing on the charts and we become experts in that specific price action. I don't know how to trade anything. I can't look at a chart randomly and say, okay, it's going to do that. I can't do this. Sometimes I'm sitting at dinners here in Dubai and they're like, hey, where do you think XYZ is going? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, how do you not know? Isn't this your full-time job or some shit like this? And therefore, how do you not know? And I'm always like, I'm an expert in one single thing. The TET Capital Report shows a certain direction. I check for a transition in that direction. Then I check for a setup. And then if this is happening, this is where I'm an expert at. I will study this setup. I understand exactly when does those setup fail. And I understand exactly when this setup works out. I understand exactly how to manage my trades. You can see for Euro CAD, for example, I will start managing this trade as soon as we get here. Why? Because I understand the setup. I understand that when the market creates such setups, usually the market can reverse from there. And therefore, I will start managing this trade from here. Why? Because I'm an expert in this setup. I understand it well enough to create rules for it, to create management systems for it, to decide the right stop loss, the right take profit from it, because I'm an expert in that specific price action. So in the first episode of Technicals with Roy, all I want to teach you is that you need to choose one thing, just one thing, and become an expert in it. That's it. All right. So, and then as you become an expert in it, you'll know how to manage it. You'll know where to take the entry, how much to risk, where to place your stop loss, where to place your take profit, how much will your trade run. You will start knowing how much does your setup allow the market to run. For example, there are some setups that I traded before where the market can push slightly in my direction and then come back to my stop loss. And therefore, if I had such setups, then what I would do is my take profit, of course, will be very close to my entry, 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, let's say, or 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio, because this is what this setup allows me to. Now, for these setups right here that I'm trading right now, they allow me a further risk to reward ratio because I've studied them and I've seen that they allow me a further risk to reward ratio. I became an expert in them, and right now I know that for this trade, the right risk to reward ratio is a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. Now, I will not hold this trade until, let's say, 1-to-7. That won't work out. That won't work out. I won't be profitable if I do this. Why? Because I studied my setup and I understand that I will get a 1-to-3, but I won't get a 1-to-7 based on my studies. You can look at the BNB trade that I took. Let's go back to crypto. right now I have a Binance trade going on, and you can see this is a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio because I studied this exact setup right here, which by the way is the same thing right here. We created this level, it got liquidated, we came back into this area of liquidation, we were pushing away from it, and I took this trade as we are pushing away from it, and I took it on Saturday. The market basically trailed a little bit right here, and then right now on Monday started pushing through in basically at the end of Sunday yesterday we started pushing in my direction, and then right there, this is where we are right now. But you can see that because I studied this setup enough, I understand that when the market is already pushing up, because this is not a very clear transition from bearish to bullish, and therefore I understand that for this setup, it cannot run more than 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Why? Because I became an expert in this setup and I understand exactly how it behaves. And this is what you need. And this is what I wanted to tell you in the first episode of Technicals with Roy. Let's see what happens with those trades. I'll update you guys and teach you anything else if anything else comes up. Let's see how these trades, Euro CAD, USD JPY, AUD CAD go, and then we will talk about them again. I'll talk to you soon, guys. So let's announce the results for these trades and then see if we can learn anything from them. We had USD JPY, we had AUD CAD, we had Euro CAD, and we had the Binance coin trade. So let's see what happened with them. For USD JPY, unfortunately, we missed out on the trade. The market never came back into our area of interest right here. We just continued pushing through to the upside. We reached up into this 147 psychological level right here. We reacted from it through to the downside, and then we continued pushing through to the upside. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a break right here on this trade. Now, the reason why we missed out on this movement through to the upside, the main reason, is that the trade was kick-started in the Asian session, right here at 10 p.m. and at 2 a.m. in the night right there. And I wasn't in front of the charts at 10 p.m. and at 2 a.m., nor will I ever be in front of the charts at 10 p.m. at 2 a.m. in the Asian session. So the Asian session kick-started this trade, and then therefore we couldn't get in the beginning of this trade, and therefore we had to wait for a re-entry. We didn't get it, and the market just simply pushed in our direction. So therefore, we missed out on the win. Now for AUD CAD, we had a similar thing, which is the market came back into our area of interest right here at 10 p.m. and at 2 a.m. right there. And therefore, we are not in front of the charts at 10 p.m. and at 2 a.m. But right here, it was in our favor. Because when I woke up in the morning to trade the London session, I saw that the market was well above our area of interest. And therefore, similarly to USD JPY, I was like, okay, we missed out on it. We cannot enter this trade. But fortunately for us, we right here missed out on the loss. So for USD JPY, we missed out on the win as a result of not being on the charts at 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. For AUD CAD, we missed out on the loss as a result of not being on the charts at 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. Anyway, going back to Euro CAD right here, Euro CAD was a magnificent trade through to the downside right here, full TP all the way down. So this trade, as you can see, was taken right there. The market then hovered a little bit around this area right here, and then it pushed through to the downside. This trade took like 8 days. So it started at 7 July and it ended just yesterday right here at 15 July. You can see the results right here for my trades. This is basically screen mirroring from my phone. You can see that the trade that I'm in right now is the silver trade. Hopefully it goes well. And then for the history for the last week, which is basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because today we're Wednesday. So for the past 3 days is this. So that's what we basically have. The Euro CAD just hit the TP area through to the downside. That's it basically. Yeah, we had the Binance coin. So the Binance coin is very simple. I'm not going to talk about it much. Binance coin just continued going to my take profit and way above it. That's it. There's nothing much to say about this. So what we can learn basically on Euro CAD is simply like the only thing that I can teach you right here is patience. That's it. That trade went ahead for 8 days and I simply just held it, and it hovered around my entry and went a little bit in drawdown right here, as you guys can see, but I just basically didn't give a shit. All right, I didn't care, and therefore I just continued holding it all the way until it hit the TP, as you can see from the results right there. So it's only patience. That's the only thing that I can teach you in addition to this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned from it, and I'll see you guys most probably tomorrow in the next episode of Technicals with Roy.